Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all present today. Welcome to the quarterfinal round of English debate competition, InterVarsity Science E-Debate Challenge 2021. The motion for this debate is, this House, in light of the recent pandemic, would make vaccinations mandatory to all citizens. I am Ainin and I will be the chairperson and the timekeeper for Room 3. Let me now introduce the debaters to you. Acting as the government team for this debate is team from UDKLA, with Mr. Adam as the Prime Minister, Mr. Irfan as the Deputy Prime Minister, and Mr. Hazik as the Government Whip. Acting as the opposition team for this debate is the team from UPM Putra, with Ms. Maria as the opposition leader, Mr. Chun Kiat as the second opposition speaker, and Mr. Sudarshan as the opposition whip. Our panel of adjudicators consists of Mr. Patrick Seo William from UKM, Mr. Troy Sojudi from UUM, and Mr. Muhammad Farhan Shah from YouTube. Okay. So now we come to our debate today. To open the case from the government team, I call upon the Prime Minister to start the debate session.
Test. Am I audible? Wait, yeah.
Yes, you are.
Okay, wait, just let me open my timer for just in case. Okay. Okay, I will be starting in 1, 2, 3. Good morning, Madam Speaker, fellow educators, and ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are having a great day today. So before starting today's debate, would like to share you guys a quote that I think will resonate with this debate. I think the quote stated that the greatest wealth is health, and I do think that is important. And moving on to today's motion, which is this House, in light of recent pandemic, will make vaccination mandatory to all citizens. We define this motion as to be treated with vaccine to produce immunity against a disease, which the disease here is COVID-19. The vaccine that we are used here are, wrong. Okay, the COVID-19 pandemic. What do we mean by recent pandemic is that the COVID-19 pandemic itself, also known as the coronavirus pandemic, is an ongoing global pandemic of coronavirus disease 2019. And what do we mean by all citizen? It's 18 and above, and we are in fact wanted to have all citizens to be vaccinated with in mind that people with history of or a specific allergy or specific condition cannot get the vaccine, and we do in mind with that. And like I said just now, what do the government team mean by mandatory to all citizens is that we will ensure that everyone that cannot be harmed by the vaccine will take the vaccine, and we take in mind for those who cannot get a vaccine. Like I said just now, people with history of specific allergies, people with pre-existing health condition, and pregnant or breastfeeding women. Our stand is clear, is that we want to protect the stakeholders from this pandemic. The stakeholders here are the people who are living in our country. Let me repeat, we want to protect the people who are living in this world. We want to protect them from this pandemic and COVID-19 vaccine. Having protection could help us in the long run. Having vaccinated can help reduce COVID-19 and ensure the safety of all people in this world. Health is important. In the status quo, this pandemic has resulted in severe global social and economic disruption, including the largest global recessions since the Great Depression of the 1930s. A lot of people have died because of this COVID-19. We want to stop COVID-19. We want to curb it. We want to make sure all people are safe. Hence, we prepare a mechanism. The first mechanism that we prepare to ensure this all people get vaccinated is that we will be vaccinating all people in Malaysia with consideration who can't get a vaccine. And we want to achieve herd immunity. What I mean by herd immunity is in order to achieve herd immunity, we need to at least vaccine all of the people. If we achieve herd immunity, we could potentially to continue to our normal life. With herd immunity, and people can get vaccine, and we will help the country in the long run, which is important. Mechanism 2 is every citizen will be automatically registered on an app to get the vaccines. Hence it's why it's mandatory. Justification is that we want to ensure that all people can get the vaccine with ease. We want to make sure they have the accessibility and it will be easy for them. We're not making it hard for the citizen. So how we know about this is because we will make it for those who can't, for those who not turn up for the appointment, for example. We will set reminders for 3 times. Maybe the first time is the message, second time is also the reminder also, and the third time. And we always send message about the educating the people and also reminders for them to get the vaccine. If that doesn't make them go, we will send people to the houses to ask them what is the problem. Maybe they have diseases that they cannot go. Maybe they don't have the transportation to go to the place itself. If they are still stubborn with this, we will put a fine. So what if the worst case scenario if it's not mandatory? We need to agree that herd immunity is the end game of the COVID-19 vaccine. With a virus that contagious as this one and become more contagious due to the variants, people who decide not to get a vaccine are likely over time to get affected by the COVID-19 vaccine. Ultimately, the people who choose to not get vaccinated will contribute to herd immunity by the fact that they will get infected by it. The stakeholder here are citizens. We want them. We want them. We want them to be safe. We need to take care of them. We want them to continue to their normal life. So with the burden of proof for the opposition team, they need to show us how by not getting vaccinated, how all not getting vaccinated, this pandemic will end, and how the stakeholder will not harmed by the COVID-19. So as the first speaker, I will talk about about the protecting why we want to vaccinate is to protect all this, and our second speaker will say the benefit of if the motion pass and the consequences if the motion is not passed, and our third speaker will rebut and sum up our team case. Yes, POI.
Okay, you say you want herd immunity, and herd immunity you can achieve by getting like 70% vaccinated. What is the point of mandatory?
The point of mandatory is that we actually want to make sure everyone is vaccinated, like I said just now, with that in mind of that who cannot get the vaccine. So why we are making it mandatory, we want to make sure it is fast and if we cannot take this time because COVID-19 is a ticking time bomb. People will get affected by it. Hence, we make it mandatory so we can continue to our normal life. Moving on into my first argument is that we want to protect ourselves and the community. Receiving COVID-19 vaccine can decrease the chances of getting COVID-19 by a remarkable percentage. The clinical trial data has demonstrated vaccine to reduce COVID-19 by 90%. That is huge. 90% is important. It's better than nothing. Stopping the spread of COVID-19 means the slowing of mutation and the virus too. Every time the virus spread to a new person, it has chance to mutate. I repeat, it has chance to mutate. With you can with that, if you get the COVID-19 vaccine, you can reconnect with your loved ones and co-workers, and you also can travel. Do you know that getting vaccinated, you're not only protecting yourself, but also protecting your family, your community from contagious and dangerous diseases? And like I said just now, COVID-19 is a ticking time bomb. We already seen all of the cases, all the people died. We need to stop that. We want to ensure the safety of all people in the country. COVID-19 causes death if we ain't taking necessary steps to curb it. And like I said just now, with people having vaccinated, we can connect to our loved one without compromising anyone. Let me repeat, without compromising anyone. We need to return to our normal life, and having people vaccinated is the most important part here. With that, I raise my case.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister. To open the case from the opposition team, I call upon the Leader of Opposition to continue the debate.
POIs will be given through voice. Okay, thank you. I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. I think side government got the entire motion wrong. Because first of all, the word mandatory means it's forcing. That means everybody has to take. Okay, it's not with ease. It means whether they want to or not, they're still taking it. It's mandatory. All right. But before we go into that, so let me just retell what the motion for today is that this house, in light of recent pandemic, would make vaccination mandatory to all citizens. Once again, I would like to say that government got this entire motion wrong. This motion isn't about just vaccination, it's about mandatory, it's about to all citizens. This motion, what this entire debate is about the human's right to choose, because the word mandatory is in this motion, meaning that everybody is being forced to take the vaccination, whereas where even if they don't want to, they still have to do it. Okay, so they say they want everybody to be vaccinated, to be treated, and such and such and so on. That I would like to rebut that this vaccination only, we have no guarantee that this vaccination will save all lives. Okay, it won't save everyone. Some people will have the side effects, but I will get into that later. But I would like to say our stance on side opposition, that our stance for today is that we believe that it should not be mandatory, but we will promote it aggressively because everyone has the right to choose. Once again, I would repeat, the motion for today is about human rights. It's not about the vaccination, it's not about people's health, it's about the right to choose. Okay? So basically, they are saying that vaccination everybody should take above 18 years or 18 years old, above 18 years old, everyone should take. Okay, let's get into that in a bit. So they want to explain about vaccination, but I will explain about human rights, and my second and third speaker will help me rebut side government. All right. So you do realize in the pandemic, everybody is rushing for the vaccination. Everybody wants it to come as soon as possible. All scientists, all doctors are going very fast, very hard. They are rushing through all their work so that they could create this vaccination in a rush, that they are skipping a few steps. Do you realize they are skipping a few steps of testing on humans, testing on animals, or testing on anything that could be related to our genetics, so that this could have the least side effects? Okay, seeing that this came because of the emergency, this came in a rush, do you realize the side effects it's causing everyone? Do you realize that after vaccination, everybody is getting sick, but they are getting better? But there are some people who can actually get worse than those fevers. We do not know, all right? We really do not know, because we don't know the effects
You're
of this in
right.
the long run. Because one minute, because everybody is unsure what is going to happen. Right now, they want to fix COVID-19. They want it to be gone ASAP, but they still don't know what's going to happen to this vaccination. Okay, I'll take your PI.
It's been months since the vaccine is out, and people have spent billions and maybe trillions of dollars in research of vaccine itself. Comment?
Okay, comment. Few months compared to all those years of research in the past of past vaccination of all the other diseases that we can't seem to solve, even if as much vaccination, medical research we did upon that, we still have sickness, we still have E. coli, we still have dengue, we still have all those other sickness, and yet you think this vaccination is going to be helpful for them in a few months? Comment back. Okay, so knowing that this came in a rush, this came like all of a sudden, like everybody is trying to fix it, everybody is trying to make it get better, everybody is rushing for it, but they don't know the long run. They don't understand what's going to happen to them in the future. Okay, so we do not know what's going on in the future, but we might know that it's going to be better for a while. It's like a small pill. It's like a small Panadol pill that will help you feel better for a while. But we are not sure. We're not sure about the future. So in the right for humans, okay, humans have a right to choose, right? So this motion says it's mandatory. Why? Why should we make this mandatory where they don't have a choice to choose whether they are going to get the side effects or not? Okay, you guys say those who cannot take the vaccination won't take. I was like, okay, allergies aside, healthy people take the vaccination, but some people
You're
don't want
right.
to take the vaccination. They are worried about the side effects that is causing them, that could cause them in the future, that could cause their next generation. Yes, I'll take your PI.
You're saying that there are bad effects of vaccine itself, but why are you aggressively promoting it if you think that it is not safe itself?
Okay, here's what our point wants to prove. Vaccination is not bad, but there are side effects. Realize that. Realize that. Yes, it will save us for a while, but it won't save us in the long run. Hence, we should not make this mandatory. We should not force people to feel better for a few months or a few weeks or a few years and then find out they actually have medical issues in 10 years time, or their next generation has medical problems, have anything at all that could cause their entire family lineage to go downhill. Okay, so basically their world is that everybody's taking vaccination, herd immunity, everybody's safe. That's not how it works. There's bound to be side effects, there's bound to be some defects, there's bound for something bad to happen that we do not know of, that we do not see. All right, notice this: when Malaysia got all the vaccination, when Malaysia started giving vaccination to the citizens, we never heard a news about anybody dying due to vaccination. Do you know why? Because they don't want to show it. They don't want to show that there could be setbacks. They don't want to show that this has defects. They need to show. We need to realize that even if they don't show, it's happening. We need to know that whether you like it or not, there's always going to be a bad effect. There's something going to happen. You need to realize that. You need to open your eyes that even if you hope for the better world, you hope for something beautiful and wonderful, it's all green, it's all sunny, it's never rainy and things like that, you can't. This is the real world. We need to realize that sometimes humans are not perfect and vaccination could have defects. Okay, so humans with their rights, they should choose whether they should take this with those side effects. They need to know the dangerous effects that could cause them, or it could make them better. They need to realize that. Like, for example, if someone were to go for surgery, a doctor doesn't just inject them, make them go to sleep and open up their hearts. No, they explain to them, they choose, they decide. Vaccination should not be mandatory when surgery is not mandatory either. So you need to give the rights to humans to decide whether they should take this or not. Same thing, basically it's human rights. Basically, even if the World Health Organization agrees to approves vaccination, humans should have the right to choose whether you like it or not. This is about individuals. This is about citizens of the country. Okay, that is all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Maria. To continue our debate today, I call upon the Deputy Prime Minister to continue the case for their side.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, you are audible.
All right, I'm going to start my speech in 1, 2, 3. Look, this is why the side opposition stays opposition and they never become the government. Hence, we should never vote for opposition because they think that the life of people is not good. That they would rather have people not vaccine themselves for the sake of their health. They would rather have people live and die because of this pandemic. So vote for the side opposition if you think that is good. Vote for us because today we are going to help the stakeholder, help these people who are currently in pandemic, adults, those who are sick, those who are definitely need in pandemic, who are definitely need in vaccine to be vaccinated so that they can get even better and be prevented and cured from COVID-19. We already know how much COVID-19 has destroyed our life over the past few weeks, in past few years in current status quo. and we do not want that to happen at the end of the day. Now, before I start my debate for today, I want to emphasize on today's debate on this house, in light of the recent pandemic, would make vaccination mandatory to all citizens. Now, before I talk about my speech for today, no, thank you. Before I talk about my speech for today, what am I going to talk to you? I'm going to talk to you first. I'm going to rebut to the side of leader of opposition. Second, I'm going to talk to you about the stakeholder and status quo that they don't even see, and then our premise and mechanism that they don't even see at the end of the day. Then I'm going to talk about my arguments on aggressively promote is not effective. Second, I'm going to talk on the benefits of this motion passes and the harms if this motion doesn't passes, and the impacts that comes with it at the end of the day. Now, before that, I'm going to continue towards the rebuttals, right? Okay, the very big problem that I see from the side of opposition is that they simply say their promise is just to aggressively promote vaccination, but they've never really explained to us, by aggressively promote on how are they going to do it. I don't know. They never really provide to us explanation. So I just assume they simply just probably say, I want to promote vaccination for you guys. If you do not want a vaccine, it's up to you. That just proves how callous they are to think that people buy it at the end of the day, right? Now, continue to their contradictions that they say. Vaccination has a lot of harms and that it is not enough clinical trials. Then that goes against what they say. They want to aggressively promote. Then I don't see where they stand for today's debate. Do they want people to get vaccinated at the end of the day or not? So therefore, I think the side opposition agrees at the end of the day that why people should get vaccinated and why the side government wins. Now, enough with that. I'm going to continue with my arguments. First, why is aggressively promote is not effective? No, okay, let me assume of aggressively promote of what they say. I'll assume that they simply say that maybe the politician, that they would simply probably tweet or probably do a post on Facebook, you should get vaccine because it's going to be effective for you. Let me tell you, that is not effective at all. Who will even buy you, because you do not even state probably that the advantage that you get from vaccination, that the proof and the harm, the benefits that you get from vaccination, and the harms if you don't get it, and how COVID-19 is gonna probably in this recent pandemic, such as COVID-19, is gonna harm you at the end of the day, which I don't see what the side opposition says. By aggressively promote, it's not effective, as what I have shown to you. Simply promoting in that way is never going to be the absolute and better way. Now continue towards my point, my second point on how that it will benefit the stakeholder. Now, what we state that the stakeholder for today's debate is definitely the society and definitely the citizens of the world. Basically, that by getting vaccine, as what my prime minister said to you, it's definitely going to help to boost your immune system, to help cure you, probably to help cure, but probably to prevent you from the virus getting worse each day and each day. We believe that is even better than not having vaccine at all, because we know that variations of virus keep on evolving, that this is a ticking time bomb for people. You don't want people to die at the end of the day. We do not want to. Hence why we tell you that by getting vaccine is even better, get it even faster. Hence why mandatory is needed, by making sure that these people get vaccine, probably through the app. When the app shows you can get your vaccine at this details place time, that they can get vaccine at the place that they want to, and they will have to get the vaccine. What we can see is that by getting the vaccine at very least, that can actually prevent COVID-19 from getting worse at the end of the day for them. By actually making everyone vaccinated, then it could reach to herd immunity. Why we do not really want to promote by actually like aggressively promote or letting them choose is, what if there are people that think that vaccination doesn't work? How it can ripples, how news can ripples very fast just to simply say that vaccine is not good and that you can choose not to go for vaccination, and how people could actually buy it, and that it will be a ripple effect that they have the option to rather choose to not get vaccinated, which I will say to you the harms that goes. Let's look at the benefit if this motion passes, right? That people can get herd immunity, that it can actually improve the economy at the end of the day. We know how much it harms the economy, where people cannot go out and people cannot buy. Therefore, there's no cash transaction happening. Therefore, there are no income that is happening inside the country. Therefore, there is no tax being paid to help further develop the country to become even better at the end of the day. Now, I'm going to talk about how if this motion doesn't pass, right? On how that they could get infected, on how it could get potentially hurt the stakeholder even more. It's simply saying harm the stakeholder even more is on how, when they actually chose not to get vaccine, is that they can actually pose even more threat towards themselves to be infected with COVID-19. It's going to infect them that probably that they cannot even breathe at the end of the day, that they could even die. And on the fact that they can even infect other people, that is even more harmful. Hence why we want to vaccine them, help them before they die. Now I've talked to you on how it's going to benefit the people and going to later benefits the economy. Now state to us the side opposition on how these people and the stakeholder can be benefit at the end of the day. Now let me summarize my points. First, I've talked to you that aggressively promote is not effective. Second, benefits of the motion that they can get healthy and reach herd immunity. Therefore, we decide the government would like to rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deputy Prime Minister. The time was 7 minutes and 27 seconds. Now I call upon the Deputy Leader of Opposition to continue the case for their side. Mr. Chun Kiat.
Okay, so to start this debate, we should remind the government team that yes, we admit that vaccine is protective. Yes, it will protect people from this COVID, but this debate is about whether we should force this new vaccine which is developed in a rush, and we know that the side effect like blood clot can cause death. And with all of these things, should we still force it to every single people in the country, or some people might have the right to choose? So what we want to achieve in this debate is basically these people who are worried about that, these people who has made a rational decision about not to choose vaccine, they can choose to not take vaccine. But what the government team want to achieve is herd immunity. And so in my speech, I'll tell you that how our solution of just promoting aggressively can actually create a win-win situation where both sides, the objective of both sides would be achieved. So first of all, they are trying to ask us what is aggressively promote. I think that they have already answered what is aggressively promote in their own speech, which is that we will advertise it, we will campaign it, we will educate the public about the usefulness and the function of the vaccine, and then we also tell them the statistics and any truth, and at the same time any risk of the vaccine, so that the people are be clear of any kinds of information, any kinds of risk, and they will make a rational decision. And what decision they will make, whether or not they will take vaccine or not, it is up to their own decision later. So I will not accept now. So how can this achieve what they want to aim? So what is herd immunity? Herd immunity is not like 100% of the citizen, everybody take vaccine. It is about 70% take vaccine. And with this 70%, the population already achieved a significant protection from this entire pandemic and the spread of this disease will be stopped as a result. 70% to achieve their aim, which is herd immunity. It means that as long as we promote to the public, and many people are willing to take this vaccine, it means that we will still achieve the herd immunity. And who are those who are anti-vaxxer plus those people who are worried about those risks? I don't think that it will stand for such a high percentage to the point that it will completely deny the whole objective of herd immunity, because herd immunity allows like 20 to 30% of people not taking vaccine or not accepting the vaccine to achieve herd immunity. So let's say, right, so what is the population that we are willing to take vaccine without all of this forcing and mandatory stuff? So let's look at US. So how much of their elderly who has already completed the vaccine who are willing to take vaccine and are completed the vaccine without the entire process of forcing them to do so. There are more than 80% of these old people's elderly who are completed their phase are willing to take vaccine. It means that, like, in nature, even if you don't force it, herd immunity is already there. You don't need to purposely do that. You don't need to force people who don't want to take into taking and create all these like forcing stuff
POI.
or like finding stuff. All of this harm of like probably they will have the risk of like having the side effects which might cause death, which is blood clotting. And to take this, so what they are proposing is basically no use. So yes, or POI.
So I understand that you want the same goal as us, but the question is, you are talking about human rights. So my question is, what's the point of human rights? Because at the end of the day, if you will end up with a country full of corpses.
What's the point of human rights? Because I think I already tell you just now that in our side, herd immunity can also be achieved. The pandemic can also be stopped by achieving herd immunity, even if 20 to 30% of people choose to not take vaccine. And so I don't know what's the point of you telling me that the country is full of corpses. Okay, so I would like to further strengthen my point, elaborate on some point on our main stance, which is that human decision and the autonomy of patients is very important in these medical fields, and it is one of the 4 ethics of a doctors who sworn to be a doctor should have, which is autonomy. So this means that these patients should be very well aware of the risk and remind you. Just to remind you that what you are telling me that, okay, those people who are not, those people are not being harmed, like allergy or those things. How can you create this parameter? This parameter is only created when the company that create a vaccine itself is transparent about the risk of the vaccine and transparent about what kind of people can and cannot take. For example, a lot of vaccine that we are having now is actually from authoritarian country like China, Russia, and a lot of these countries, they are just rushing to get a vaccine so that they can show that they themselves are a major superpower of the world without considering the fact that whether this vaccine would be effective or not. Like, just take Sinovac as example. We don't know what side effects they have. We don't know whether it causes blood clot or any other side effect because it is never been reported in the case. And Singapore has already a Singapore doctor already tell us that how ineffective it might be, and cluster in the Indonesia hospital already show that sometimes it might be ineffective. But then at the same time, there are risks that we need to consider. So when the risk plus the uncertainty and the untransparency of the vaccine, it means that yes, a lot of people will still trust the vaccine and trust that people will decide it. But then for those people who are really, really worried about it, we don't think that we should force them to do so. And why is it so? Because after you take a vaccine, whether or not there's any side effects so serious that you can harm your own life or your well-being after that, who is responsible to this risk and all of this harm to your body? It is yourself. It is the people that actually take the vaccine itself. It is not government. It is not the company. So let's say you take vaccine and you take an Isec vaccine and you have a blood clot and you die. So who is responsible to die? Who is the one that get the harm? It is the people itself. It is not others people. And when you understand that the risk, the people who are going to take the risk is the people who take the vaccine, it means that we need to give the right to choose to the people who have the risk. And it is not the position of the government to tell you what you cannot not. And this also brings to a problem of like whether it can be applied in other cases when next time the government will tell you that, okay, because we need to get some public health, we need to save public money, so that okay, from now on we would like to sterilize any people with genetic defects, so that we can make sure that the general public will have a better and more focused health resource system. So if you set a precedent like this, it means that further government or further policy might take this precedent and continue to further this in a way that it may further strengthen the power of the state and weaken the power of the human rights. So with this, I'd like to rest my case. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for the last part. The timer lagged a bit. The time was 7 minutes and 28 seconds. Moving on, I shall now call upon the government whip to rebut. Mr. Hazik?
Y'all hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
we can
What
hear
up?
you.
Alright. Wait a minute. I'll start my debate in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so sad to see that how delusional and how confusion the opposition side case is today. We don't understand at all. So we are talking about human rights and stuff and so on. Let me ask you, ladies and gentlemen, what's the point of human rights at the end of the day if those countries end up being a pile of dead corpses and stuff like that? We could see like, okay, let's look back to the history. Let's look at the Black Death. Let's see that how a two-thirds of a continent could just die because of a pandemic like that. And we understand that maybe those kind of things won't be repetitive. Maybe those kind of things won't repeat again. But we see that right now, we don't understand the opposition side case is okay. So we understand that they are complementing the vaccine itself, and at the same time they are also saying that bad things about the vaccine itself, and they are saying about how okay. At the end of the day, people will still take vaccines because of the good side effects and stuff like that. At the end of the day, you do need to force them and stuff like that. We understand that we are right now we are emphasizing this vaccine to those who don't want to take the vaccine itself. We already provide you a mechanism where we basically send messages and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, we are finding them because at the end of the day, if they don't want to take the vaccine itself, they are the one who are the problems in the society nowadays. They are the one who will be affected. They are the one who will get infected by COVID, and they are the one who's gonna make the country a whole lot worse. So we could not just let this 20% or basically 30% of these people go. And all right, before I start my debate for today, I would like to divide my role into two. First, I would stand for our case, which is basically the better side of this whole debate, and second, I would crush the opposition side. The opposition side. All right. So moving on to the government side, we are talking about how vaccines have high immunity. We already stated that there are 30 million people in the US itself have proved that it is a high immunity against the COVID-19 itself. And we are talking about how COVID-19 itself is a ticking bomb. How by letting go this 20 or 30% of people who are not taking vaccines and stuff like that could basically be a ticking bomb, which basically could just restart the whole COVID-19 itself. We already seen it multiple times happen in Malaysia itself, PKP 1.0, 2.0, and everything else. We could see that how from being a zero case could basically increase become 1,000 again. So this is why we want to emphasize the vaccine itself. Why not? I don't understand. Why do you want to just basically just saying that we need to aggressively promote it at the end of the day? Because we already see the good effects of it. We already provide you stats and statistics and stuff like that. While on the other hand, the opposition side just providing mere assumptions, which I don't understand at all. And they're also contradicting themselves. They're saying, okay, it is good and it is bad, and whether they want the same goal as us or not. This is how confusion the opposition side is right now. We don't understand what do they want, what they goal at the end of the day. Are they going the same thing? Are they going for the same thing as us? Do they want the safety? Do they even think about the stakeholders for today? We from the government side, we on the other hand, we are thinking about the safetyness of our country. How we are talking about how we are trying to revive the economy, how we are trying to basically prioritize the safety of our country itself. All right, and moving on to the opposition side, they are basically questioning about our mandatory and stuff like that. The first speaker and the second speaker from our side already told you we are basically just sending messages and stuff like that for 3 times. Basically a reminder for you to take the vaccine itself, and we have a VR app and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, we will send a person itself to basically ask you whether you have problems with your health, whether you have problems with your vehicles and stuff like that you cannot go take the vaccine itself. And at the end of the day, if we find out that those kind of guys basically they don't want to take vaccines without any reason, which those guys that you really want to protect for no reason at all, we want to sue them at the end of the day. Because why? Because these are the problems that could create more problems. We don't want these kind of people to basically just restart the ticking bomb itself.
LI?
All right, go on.
Okay, if 70% of people have been vaccinated and herd immunity is already achieved, do you still want to force the rest 20-30% to be vaccinated?
Why not? Why not? If it is a good thing, if it's basically if at the end of the day it solves a problem, or not just basically making more riddles on your side, why not just solve the problem itself? Why not basically just making a further step to, at the end of the day, maybe we could solve COVID-19 itself? So this is the safety precautions that the government side really emphasize on. We really take these kind of things seriously so that these kind of people won't get infected again. but we don't want this COVID cases basically be dragged along the way until who knows, maybe 2040, 2050. When are these kind of things are going to end? We already have a medicine, we already have a vaccine which basically shows good effects, and we understand that there are side effects. I'm sorry. We understand that there are side effects of that, and we understand that there are. It is a lie if you say that there are not side effects and stuff like that. We understand that we already have certain restrictions. We don't allow pregnant women to take those kind of things. And basically, the opposition side also say that there are the side effects and stuff like that, which they never even elaborate more. Like they are saying, like for example, if I eat Panadol, there will be side effect. I will die and stuff like that. They never even explain to us what are the side effects of the vaccine itself. We don't understand, and they need to elaborate more, which I hope the third speaker will do. All right, and then what I could basically sum up from the first and the second speaker is they are basically just a waves of confusion, whether they want to support it, whether they want to ban it, whether they want to aggressively promote it, which we on the government side, we should basically explain to them what they are going to do and how those kind of things won't work. And we believe that we on the government side, we are the better side comparing to the opposition side. And at the end of the day, we are the second speaker from our side also show you that how there are various of COVID-19 itself. They have various evolution and stuff like that, and we believe that rather than letting these kind of things go, rather than putting a blind eye on these kind of things, we as the government, we should take step and basically make vaccine available for everyone. So at the end of the day, if those kind of things doesn't work, it is a safety precaution. At the end of the day, I could proudly say I did something for our nation, not just basically prioritizing human rights, which at the end of the day, we don't know what will happen to this kind of guy. At the end of the day, maybe tomorrow there will be a corpse and something like that. So at the end of the day, we from the government side, we believe that we don't really want to hurt the stakeholder. We really emphasize on our society. We really prioritize the society itself, the economy, and at the end of the day, we believe that we from the government side, we are the better side on this debate for today. And at the end of the day, what I could conclude from this whole debate, we from the government side, we are the better side. We are prioritizing everyone, and the opposition right now are just delusional and are just full of confusion whether they want to support it, whether they want to ban it, and at the end of the day, we don't know what their own goal is. So I believe that this house, in light of the current recent pandemic, would make vaccination mandatory to all citizens. And by that, I, the third speaker, rest my case here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hazik. It is now time to listen to the rebuttals of opposition whip. Let me just find.
Okay, I don't think I'll turn on my camera because my internet's connection is not stable.
Yes, that's fine.
All right. Okay, so I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have seen clearly how the side opposition has clearly tried to demean our side because they lack the understanding, the spirit of the debate. They have completely missed the point entirely. They think we are on the side where we want people to die from not being vaccinated. But oh my, how laughable that is. Could be further from the point. We want people to get vaccinated, but we do not want to infringe on their human rights, which is the core of this debate. The core of this debate is about the individual's rights to choose or the state's rights to make it mandatory for the collective good. Yes, and ladies and gentlemen, I would tell you straight away right now that in regards from what I've seen from the opposition side, from side government and side opposition, we have given you a bountiful reasons as to why it is not right for human rights that we have worked so hard, centuries of fighting just to get these human rights out of all of the out of all of time of humankind. It's finally we have human rights. So losing it is very, very dangerous. All right. Now I would like to rebut. But hold on, I'll take it later. All right. I would like to rebut some of the points that outside opposition said. They said we don't want them to be vaccinated. That could be further from the truth. We are already saying we want to give them information, promotion, incentivization. These are all things to make them understand, learn about the vaccine, be more aware of the risk, see the outweigh the risk and the rewards, make them realize it is better, and then they will take it themselves and bear the responsibilities for themselves. This is so that more people, when they understand something, okay, not being just forced upon them, when they understand the benefits of the vaccine, when they understand it, they are more willing to take it. They take it, and more people will be accepting of it. This will be a more stable way of going about it, because forcing down anything upon your citizens or upon anybody is still an infringement of their human rights. And that is the core of this debate, which the side government has completely missed. They think they want to get the greater good by helping people happy, and that's fantastic. I agree with you, but the way you're going about it is completely wrong. By making it mandatory, you are forcing us into a more authoritarian system. Did you not realize how authoritarian you sounded? Do you really want to start this trend of us losing our rights one by one? Of course,
POI.
I'm not saying that you guys aren't wanting that, but this is how it
POI.
starts. It's a trickle down effect. All right, let me just take your POI real quick.
Okay, I will ask.
Go on.
Okay. How sure are you by aggressively promoting the vaccination we can achieve herd immunity?
All right, very simple. Let's look at countries like developed countries where the information being explained, the incentives being given have led to higher rates of people actually taking the vaccine voluntarily. The US, for example, after they started all the incentivization programs, they had managed to increase and double their vaccination rates in states where they were anti-vaxxers, as you said earlier. Fake news, right? Yeah. Guess what? With proper incentivization, with proper information spreading, with proper promotion, the people will accept it, will accept the risk outweighs the rewards outweighs the risk, and they will do it. So we will still achieve the same goal. We will still improve the economy. We will still help rebuild the nation. Our end goal will achieve the same thing. It's just that
POI.
in your case, side government, in your case, you are leading us down a path to authoritarian regime. When we start losing our rights to choose, when we start losing our rights to choose, as my second speaker has already spoken, we will start leading into egalitarian society where the government can choose who gets the rights to live at one point. This is what our inevitable end will reach. Are you really willing to lead us down that path? I can't believe you all would even consider that. You all didn't even consider the fact that government as a power, all right, once they get the taste of power, they are not willing to let it go. They are power hungry, corrupt people. There may be some good apples, but we all know corruption exists everywhere, and especially more so in government, as we have seen in recent light. Even getting the vaccines to Malaysia took so long because of corruption and politicking all over. Are you sure you want to give more power to those people, the elites, instead of holding down whatever rights you have been given? The ones that has been fought by your forefathers, the ones that we fought so hard to get independence from. You're essentially trading off us for you're trading off the old colonial power to the new governmental colonial authoritarian power. Is that really what you want to go for? I believe not. I believe we have better ways. Would you please stop heckling me? Thank you very much. I will take your POI. Just let me finish my sentence. All right. So that is my point exactly. I have given you the examples of how we will achieve the same thing. All right. Because herd immunity requires only 70%, and we will achieve it. No problem. All right. Especially Malaysia. We are willing to accept the vaccines, and it's clear by the AstraZeneca opt-in catastrophe. People were rushing to get the vaccine, and they were willing to do it. Not mandatory, willing. That was an opt-in policy. So yes, I believe our country's rate of vaccination registration is quite high, and it's been not mandatory, it's been all voluntary, 81% if I'm not mistaken. So that is quite high. We will achieve herd immunity. I don't see why you need to make it mandatory. All right, I'll take your POI. Wait, can I take a POI anymore? I can't, sorry. Okay, so in what I'm trying to say is the worst case scenario for side government seems way more, seems like it's going to lead us to a very dark and bleak future where we will end up with a state like China constantly monitoring us, constantly controlling what we do, controlling how we live. And that seems like nightmarish Orwellian 1984 future to me. And I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that police state that controls everything you do and monitors everything you do is not some kind of dystopia that you wish to live in, right? And in the worst case scenario for side government, those who choose to take the risk, to bear the responsibility, to take the risk to not take the vaccine, they choose to take the responsibility and they will choose to suffer the consequences. If they get infected, they may die, and that is their choice. We should respect their choice. It is sad. It is sad, definitely. But I'm pretty sure if they're informed and well informed, they would make the right choice. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Now that we have heard all the three speakers from both teams, we shall take a short break of 1 minute. During this time, both the government and the opposition teams will prepare their reply speech. The time of 1 minute has ended. I shall now invite the second speaker from the opposition team to deliver this reply speech. Mr. Chen Kiat.
Okay, so let's start. So, okay, in this debate, what the reason why we have already significantly outweighed the opposition team is that basically what they want to achieve can also be achieved in what we want to in our aim. So what they want, as I said, is herd immunity, right? And we, just like how EU do, just like how US do, just like how Israel do, is that they also successfully achieve herd immunity without needing to take or without needing to receive all of these harms from forcing people to take the vaccine, just like what the opposition team say. So what we are telling you that by not forcing them, by advertising, by incentivize, and by educating them, like just like what we are saying throughout the debate, and the effect of it, just like what happening in this developed country, it is a fact. It is something that cannot be changed. It has been proven that it's effective. But what they say, like, oh, maybe people will die, maybe like the country economy how is it, maybe the country will be full of cops. It's just some wild imagination, and it's just maybe will happen. But what we are saying is something is sure. We are sure that it will happen, just like how other countries happen. But then the third speaker of the government team, that we are trying to POI them. So if you already achieve your aim, which is herd immunity, are you still going to force the others? They are like flipping, and they tell us that okay, they will still want to do so because it will help others. Because it will help others, people don't die. But we need to understand that the whole idea of herd immunity is that we can already significantly curb the spread of this pandemic from a huge pandemic that might destroy they might destroy the administration and also the public service such as healthcare a disease that is already significant, is something which is minor in our world. And therefore forcing the rest of the people, when people already achieve herd immunity, to take vaccine is basically unnecessary. And throughout their speech, their first and second speaker and also their third speaker did not tell us why we should still force those people to take vaccine, even though we already achieved herd immunity and we already successfully curbed the spread of the vaccine significantly. So what have we tell you in our speech? We have tell you that the taking vaccine itself is risk, and this is the mindset why some people in our country and our world will reject taking vaccine. So what risk that we have tell you? So first of all, we have tell you a very clear risk, which is side effects, which is also a fact that has been reported extensively. For example, like blood clot of the Isec vaccine. For example, like the heart problem which is caused by the Pfizer vaccine, and so on. And next, we also tell you that these risks are your own risks. It is not the government risk, or it's not someone that can pay any reparation to you. And we also tell, and thirdly, we also tell you about the vaccine quality, which is in rush, and then it's also from certain countries that might not be transparent, and therefore we shall have the right to choose to whether or not to take this vaccine. And all of these risks lead to what? Is the lead to the ethics that we are proposing throughout, which is the autonomy of the people. We need to realize that everything that they take is the decision of the patient itself, and it's a risk of the patient itself. We as a policymaker or we as a doctor, what can we do is just to educate and incentivize them, and in the end of the day, it is their body, it is not your body. Even if they contact vaccine, even if they contact COVID and reject vaccine and they die, it is also they die. It's not you die. It is their own decision and their own responsibility. So why the entire government speech is basically just nothing. Like they are just basically telling us that okay, vaccine can provide a lot of protection, and vaccine can save a country from pandemic. Yes, we do admit that. Yes, I say again, yes, vaccine do provide protection, but for those people who might have side effect, or for those people who are at risk, or for those people who are worried about that, we believe that those people should have the choice to choose. And this is what we are proposing without harming the benefits of herd immunity, which in our side we also can achieve. Thank you.
I shall now call upon the Deputy Prime Minister from the government team to deliver the reply speech.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna start my speech in 1, 2, 3. Look, what if a children cries over her or his mother that doesn't want to take vaccine? That they think that human rights, that the mother chose to not take vaccine, and that the mother die, and that the opposition would rather let that child cry and let them suffer their whole life, not being able to see their mother because their mother died because of COVID-19. And this is what the side opposition wants. Enough of the mess that comes from the side opposition. I'm tired, and I regret that the side opposition feels that they need to simply aggressively promote and let human rights control the citizens, when it is very much happening, the pandemic, and how much it harms the people and the citizens at the end of the day. Now, before I continue to my reply speech, what am I going to talk in my reply speech, right? First, I'm going to talk to you on the long-term effect of this motion. If this motion passes, I'm going to talk the benefit and impact if this motion passes. And I'm going to talk about the best case scenario, which side is better to cater to those stakeholders, right? Now, before I continue to my reply speech, there are a few things that never been clarified and never been told by the side opposition. First, they've never really talked on economical complication that comes with pandemic. They've never really explained on how to solve them on their side. They've never really provide explanation on how effective aggressively promoting it simply went missing, and then they assume that the gov is authoritarian in every perspective. Then they simply say that they can die if they want to, without knowing how other society could be affected of it as well. Then they agree on vaccination actually works, and that They never really talk on tangible of harms to those who can take vaccine without any harmful effect. Now, let me continue to my reply speech. First, I talked to you about what government sides wants, right? So let's see a long-term effect. If everyone get vaccinated and will get vaccinated, we do acknowledge and consider the fact that there are people who cannot take, but that's not the problem, because it will bring harms to them. We are talking about those who do not have any harms at the end of the day by taking vaccine. So this is why we want to put vaccine in the first place, because it will benefit them even more rather than posing tangible harm, rather than making other people be infected by COVID-19. We do know how severe COVID-19 affects us, not only us, but other society and citizens. And now we will talk about the country itself, on how other country could be affected as well. Basically, we are talking on how the country is becoming less developed each day if you were to live on the side of opposition. Now, let's talk about the impact if actually everyone gets vaccinated. We could reach herd immunity. On how herd immunity is very beneficial had already been talked to you by my side, by the government side. By getting herd immunity, it's going to be beneficial for the stakeholder, it's going to be beneficial for the country itself. When we talk about the lives of people, herd immunity could actually prevent the pandemic from going on further. That is why the side government wants people to get vaccination as mandatory. And then we talk about best case scenario to further cater to the problems of the stakeholder, right? We say that side government cater to the problems of the stakeholders such as the citizens, the society, the economy even better than the side opposition. We tell you already on how it's going to affect and how it's going to make the country even better, and how the people's life could be saved at the end of the day. So choose the side government if you want the people to live, if you want people to understand how much important their life is, because the side opposite never really cares and understand it. Therefore, I have never been more proud to propose this motion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have now come an end to the debate. This round is a silent round, and the verdict will be released during the roll call. With that, the House of Parliament is adjourned. Thank you so much.
GG.